Don't go away. We'll be right back.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson. This big mountain of a man is Shaquille O'Neal, and this hill of a man is Kenny the Jet Smith. Houston found themselves in a close game in the first. At the end of the period, they held a 3-point lead. They just exploded in the second quarter, grabbing the momentum and running with it. Basket after basket, and they played stingy defense. Now they've got a halftime lead that's going to be very difficult to erase. Kenny, what do you think about the Rockets?
Well, we have to talk about the unbelievable job they've done rebounding the basketball. They've sent bodies flying to the boards on every possession. They've been a stronger, quicker, tougher team by a wide margin. And it's that dominance on the glass that's going to win them this game.
Shaq, what was your takeaway on Washington?
Not pretty to watch how they get torched in the low post, Ernie. When they were playing defense in the post, you know me, Ernie. Barbecue chicken alert, barbecue chicken alert. This team is going to have to up the pressure, play more physical in the second half, start a fight, throw some bowls, let's go.
And now, folks, just moments away from the start of the third quarter.
Been excellent at both ends of the floor. The scoreboard showing what a complete performance this has been. We'll return shortly. For David Aldridge, Greg Anthony, and Chris Webber, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for watching the NBA on 2K Sports. See you next time. We'll be back shortly live from the Air Canada Centre in downtown Toronto.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
The first half in the books. This is Ernie Johnson. This is Shaquille O'Neal. This is Ken Smith. Welcome back.
Ken,
as we break down the action. The first quarter for the Raptors was fairly even. They never dug too deep a hole for themselves in the first period. The most they trailed by was 5. In the second quarter, they were easily the better team. The points started coming for them in bunches, and they built a 6-point lead by halftime. And taking a look at the Raptors, Kenny, what did you see out there?
really great rebounding effort, Ernie, so far. They're putting up some nice numbers in that category. That's the big difference in the first half.
And Shaq, what'd you see from Atlanta?
I love it. You know why I love it, Ernie? Because they're getting the ball inside and converting. Not just sitting back behind the line shooting threes. See, that's kept the defense scrambling a little bit, unable to lock in on anything. Get it in, we'll kick it back out, then you shoot it.
And that wraps up halftime as the game is set to get back underway. Let's send it to Kevin Harlan and crew, standing by courtside.
Lead by 6. And we're just moments away from the start of the fourth quarter. Stay with us. Recognize our Jordan Player of the Game, Dennis Schroeder.
And to me, the best part of his game has been the work he's done inside. I mean, slashing, driving the lane, attacking the basket at every chance. When he's had an opening, he's taken it.
He'd finally had enough of their losing streak, and it's going to take something special to regain some kind of momentum. And his effort has been very special tonight. Kevin Harlan saying thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Point lead at the end of the quarter. Their defense has been active and effective. We come back right after this.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hey again, y'all. Ernie Johnson here with Shaq and Kenny the Jet. Welcome to the 2K Sports Halftime Show. So it's Indiana who's out on top at the half. They are leading by 12. How about you, Shaq? What did you think about Indiana?
Well, they really dictated the pace of the game with their transition game. They got out on the break every chance they had, and the time they could push the tempo, they did. And a lot of times it kept the defense scrambling like eggs with the cheese and apple juice.
And Kenny, let's get your input on the Bulls.
They need to break it down. And I look at the individual areas that they're struggling with, like they're getting pounded. I mean pounded, Ernie, on the boards. That's a hustle stat.
And that's all we can do for now. As the second half begins, we get you back to Kevin Harlan.
Leading by 8, and we're just moments away from the start of the fourth quarter. Stay with us. For Steve Smith, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for tuning in. We'll see you next time. At just 2, and we'll be back shortly for the start of the second quarter.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello again, everybody. Ernie Johnson here, along with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. Time to check out the first half of action. Brooklyn found themselves in a close game in the first. Their largest deficit of the period was just 4 points. They were right there within shouting distance the entire time. They look like a more focused team in the second quarter, and what was an early deficit for them has turned into a 3-point lead at the break. And from what we saw so far from the Nets, Kenny, what's your takeaway?
I was surprised on how comfortable they seemed here on the road. The hostile crowd, that didn't bother them at all. And I want to see if they can keep that up in the second half.
And Shaq, your thoughts on the Heat?
Well, a lot of their points came in transition. They dictated the pace of the game. It was a fast pace. Put the defense back on its heels. I say keep attacking the second half. Do not slow down.
That'll do it for now. The second half of action coming right up.
Back after this from the American Airlines Arena. Wrap it up, folks. For Brent Berry, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan along with our 2K Sports crew, thanking you for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Have a great evening. And we reached the end of the first quarter. The Mavericks on top as they dominate the last minutes of the quarter on an 8-0 run. It's the NBA on 2K Sports from New Orleans.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson. This big mountain of a man is Shaquille O'Neal, and this hill of a man is Kenny the Jet Smith. The first quarter for the Mavericks was fairly even. Their largest deficit of the period was just 4 points. They were right there within shouting distance the entire time. Well, for the Mavericks, Shaq, what's your take on Dallas?
Well, Kenny should appreciate this. I love the ball movement. They were in sync as a unit, and their assist numbers were impressive. Anytime you get 5 players working together like that instead of one guy doing it alone, it's always going to be a boost. That's the primary reason they're in control of the game.
And Kenny, what'd you see from New Orleans?
They're not getting to the line or putting enough pressure on the defense. They have to be much more aggressive pushing the basketball, going hard to the rack. Because if you want the refs to make a call, put them in a position to make a judgment call. If you're not creating opportunities for contact, you have no chance of picking up points at the line.
And that wraps up halftime as the game is set to get back underway. Let's send it to Kevin Harlan and crew, standing by courtside.
At the end of the quarter, their defense has been active and effective. We'll get right back to the action when we return. The whole 2K Sports crew. This is Kevin Harlan, thanking you for being with us. We'll see you next time. Up the quarter, and they've done a phenomenal job down low, so many of their points coming right at the rim. We'll get right back to the action when we return.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
We so hope you enjoyed our first half. Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith. This is the halftime report. A tremendous game we're seeing from Giannis Antetokounmpo. He had 16 points, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. Kenny, your thoughts on the Bucks' first half?
The freak is in the house, and he's tearing it up. One of the longest, most athletic guys in the league. The big thing for Giannis to work on now is consistency with the shot and his willingness to play physical when he has to.
And now, Shaq, let's get your opinion on Oklahoma City.
Well, they got to do a better job on the glass. Ernie, they got outworked. They were weak physically. That's part of how they fell behind in this game. I think if they can control those things, they'll be okay, Ernie.
And that wraps up halftime as the game is set to get back underway. Let's send it to Kevin Harlan and crew, standing by courtside.
Bucks lead by 4, and we'll be back with you right after this. Now to recognize our Jordan Player of the Game, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, and his performance has been a jaw-dropper. He must have been feeling great coming into the building tonight, because once he hit the court, it was all working for him. He was in a zone.
For Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan along with our terrific 2K Sports crew, thanking you for tuning in. So long and good night, everyone. They've set the tone. They love their tempo. They're going to be very tough to stop. We come back right after this.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
The first half in the books. This is Ernie Johnson. This is Shaquille O'Neal. This is Ken Smith. Welcome back.
Ken?
Ken, as we break down the action. It was a big-time first quarter from Buddy Hield. He had 16 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist. Shaq, how did you think the Kings were playing?
Well, I like it, Ernie, because they're just not settling for outside shots. You know, that part of the game is pretty when it's going in. We've seen plenty of teams try that and fail. You got to have a balanced approach. And tonight, they found a ton of success inside. Basketball and championships are won inside out. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about.
Kenny, your take on Phoenix.
Well, one problem I see is that they're too timid on the boards. When you start to fall behind in the game, you need to become more aggressive on the offensive glass and the defensive glass.
And that's all we can do for now. As the second half begins, we get you back to Kevin Harlan.
We're We're at the end of the third, and we've still got a close one. The Kings on top, up by 3. And we'll have the start of the fourth quarter for you as soon as we get back from this short break. To present our Jordan player of the game, Elfrid Payton.
Well, he's got his field goal percentage in the high 50s, and that says a lot about how well he's been able to kind of exploit the gaps in the defense. His motion, his ability to find open spots on the floor, you can definitely see the difference.
For Greg Anthony, Chris Webber, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching the NBA, presented by 2K Sports. So long and good night, everyone.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hey, everybody. Ernie Johnson, joined by Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. Welcome to the NBA Halftime Show on 2K Sports.
Been working out.
The first quarter for the Hornets was fairly even. They did jump out to a lead in the opening period, but 4 points was the biggest it got. Defensively and offensively, they improved quite a bit in the second quarter, and they've got a nice 8-point halftime lead to show for it. Shaq, your thoughts on the Hornets?
The three-point shot was their best friend. I agree with the strategy. When it's working, take advantage of it. I don't really like it. Live by the jumper, die by the jumper. But tonight, they're living, and they're living good, baby.
And over to Kenny now. How'd you think the Warriors were playing?
Well, it's good to be physical, but there's a line that you don't want to cross. You can't constantly give up free throw chances by fouling guys too aggressively. You have to get back in this game by staying poised, smart, and avoid fouling.
And we're just about ready for the start of the third quarter. Kevin Harlan standing by. We'll see you.
Right, 2. And time for the short break, and stay right where you are. The fourth quarter is coming up next. Chance now to recognize our Jordan player of the game, Draymond Green.
And he's provided them with a major mismatch on that low block tonight. That they've been able to lean on his scoring in the paint. And if nothing else has worked, he's given them a reliable option on every possession.
Us, that'll do it for now. Charlotte. For Greg Anthony, Steve Smith, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a great evening.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello, folks. Welcome back. Ernie Johnson here with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. This is the halftime show on 2K Sports. It was Isaiah Thomas who got hot in the first. He had 20 points, 2 assists, and 1 steal. And let's get your thoughts, Kenny, on the Lakers.
Well, there was one pleasant surprise, and that was the bench. They gave him a big lift. Those guys came into the game, they did all the dirty work, and they scored baskets.
Shaq, what was your takeaway on the Clippers?
I like the way they rebounded. They devoted a lot of energy down low, fighting for each other on the boards, and they helped keep this game tight. If they can continue to do that, it could easily be the factor that swings the game in their favor.
And we're just about ready for the start of the third quarter. Kevin Harlan standing by. We'll see you.
Los Angeles sitting with a comfortable lead, up by 14. And it's been their rugged defense setting the tone. And don't go away. We'll be right back. Now, For Brent Berry, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.